Welcome to Short Scale Modelling. For my next build, I'm building this Airfix Martin B-26B Marauder, scale 1:72. Here we go. This is a nice simple basic kit. We'll start off the instructions. It's one of the order type instructions, so there's no colour codes here. It's just your basic styling. It's quite detailed, as you can see. There's quite a lot into this kit. It comes with two variants. One, it says the Big Hairy Bird, Group 9th Air Force, 1944 to 1945, and the other one's called Flatbait, which is 1944 to 1945 as well, 9th Air Force again. I think I'm going to do this one after having a look at it, simply because I like the front graphic here, the little sort of tigery smiley face. Yeah. So that's that. The actual kit itself. I've already primed these screws. I keep on priming them for doing the showing you them. I suppose it doesn't really matter. So there we have the props here, engine components, pilots, which you won't be using. And in the sprue we have the tail wings and flaps by the look of it. Yeah, again, Airfix, one off. We have the bombs here and the inside of the cockpit and cowlings for the engines. Wing flaps are more work for inside the cockpit, so quite a lot for the inside really. The fuselage, as they're primed these in a different colour, basically because I ran out of grey, but that's actually to my benefit because it's going to have the white invasion stripe, so it'll work better, or easier to paint. The wings, top half, bottom half, nicely moulded, and lo and behold, a couple of things off the sprue. There's also a canopy, which is here. And I can just take this out. You can see it. There's the canopy. Front nose cone, main canopy. The covers for the beacon lights and so forth. So it's a relatively inexpensive kit, and they put quite a lot into this. I've been told that it's one of the best Marauder kits out there, so that'll be interesting. I've never actually built a Marauder before, so all that's left to do is jump into the kit. Before I go, I forgot to show you the decal sheet. I was just preparing there to start the kit. So the decal sheet obviously covers both variants. These are the markings that I think are nice. I'm going to be putting on decals even. I do like the fact that these have the markings for enemy hits and strikes, but this is for the flatbait variant. I don't know whether I'll maybe cut them out and incorporate them, because I do like them. I'll say that'll be near the end of the build anyway. So let's jump into the build. So I'm starting off with the painting on the sprue, and the first part I'm going to be painting, well, I should say actually that I painted first of all River Colour 76 light grey for the interior, and then now I'm switching to 310 Luftwaffe yellow, and there's a framework for the bomb bay doors, and I took out the yellow to paint the prop, so I thought, well, I may as well use this now to paint the parts of the interior as well. So as you can see that I'm starting on the props, but the instructions call for the interior to be painted in cockpit green, but I thought maybe the grey was a little bit better for this. So once it's all painted, I'm starting with the first part of the assembly. So I'm just getting the pre-assembled bits done. This little part here is goes onto the bulkhead. I'm not sure what it is, but I eventually painted it in 08 matte black. So with the base paint on. I'm going to be detailing using the weathering powder. So I'm using Tamiya's Weathering Master Series E, and I'm using the green pigment here, and I'm just going over the ridged areas with the green. This just brings out detail within the cockpit. This part here is actually for the bomb bay, where those yellow racks are going to be situated. So it's up to you whether you want to put this much detail in, but I just fancy doing it. I then went over with 08 matte black for the wires and connection points within the area. I then used 34 Italian red, just for a splash of colour really. It's probably not authentic, but I never go for the real authentic look on my builds anyway. I always do what feels right to me, and I just wanted a splash of colour in these just to make it stand out a bit better. Now to assemble the cockpit, it's fairly straightforward. Your control levers go in first. The tips of these are painted in the 08 colour, and that's the same for the control sticks as well, the handles, both colours, same colour I should say, and they're fitted just opposite the sides of the levers here. The location points are fairly well marked out. You may have to open them up slightly. I had to open one up slightly to get it to fit. I would imagine it just depends on the actual mould. Next to go in is the seats. Now I made a little bit of a mistake here. I couldn't get them to fit into the location points, but it was only after I snipped them off because I didn't want to open them up and they were stable enough just to cement them on. I realised each seat has a different location point to fit, so that you don't get them the wrong way around. After checking the instructions, I realised I done it the wrong way, so I just swapped them over. Next to go on is the bulkheads. They fit in rather well. The location points here just slot in a little bit tight. If I'm honest, you may have to give it a little bit more pressure than you normally would to place them in, but they do go in. And it was same for the opposite end. So that's the main structure of the cockpit build. It's very basic on top. There's not a lot of detail whatsoever. Underneath there is quite a lot of detail, as you can see there. But for some reason they didn't put much detail in the actual cockpit, which is a shame. But there is room to scratch build if you prefer. So to paint the bombs, I'm using Mr. Hobby H52 Olive Drab 1. This is not exact colour that they are calling for, but I prefer this colour for World War II weapons. Again, whether it's 100% accurate, I'm not 100% sure. The assembly is fairly straightforward. It's two halves married together with the fins slot on at the end. You have 8 in total to make up here. Now to make up the bomb bay compartment, first of all, have a look at the actual yellow racks that I've painted here, whatever colour you decide to do them. They are different lengths, and that corresponds to the bulkheads. So dry fit them before you're 100% sure you know where you're going to place them. As you can see here, I didn't dry fit them, I just carried on, which was a very silly mistake to make. In the end, I couldn't get them to fit because I had them the wrong way around, the bomb rack itself. So I had to take off the bulkhead and start from scratch. It was okay because the glue hadn't set yet, so it was just a little bit of cleanup to do once I took the parts back off. So once the bulkheads are in, attach one end of the beam to the bulkhead. There is a little location point for it to fit in. Then situate the middle part before attaching the opposite end. Only then place in the yellow rack on. Now, on the beam, the yellow racks that I've done, one side is moulded onto the beam, and the other side you have to attach to the beam. And this is where you can get a little bit mixed up with the length of the actual rack itself. it's quite obvious looking back on it how it was meant to be done. I just missed it really. So once it was all dry, it was time to place the bombs on, and each bomb has a couple of recess points for the location points, and they just sit in there. Make sure they're dry before you flip them over and do the other side. If you're a bit impatient, sometimes I can be, and flip them over before they dry, you'll have to reposition them. So it's better waiting that extra couple of minutes, making sure they're secure before doing the other side. So as you can see there, once just popped off as I moved it, this is why it's important to make sure it's dried. And lastly, to go on is another set of racking. I don't know why, but there's only one set for the front compartment of the bomb bay. Where the other bomb set, there's no outer racking for some reason. Going on to the engine now, I'm using Rebel Aquacolor 91 steel. Now this engine is a fairly simple engine. There's not a lot of detail in there. I'm painting the central part H28 metallic metal black by Mr. Hobby. And once it dries, the two halves just push on top of each other, like so. I decided to put in some ignition leads only because I had some copper wire left over from my last build. So it's just a simple case of a small bit of super glue on the engine and placing the copper wire onto it. And then once that's dried, I just bent the wire over the engine before I'll be snipping off the excess. So that's all done, and just that small bit of add-on does make them stand out a lot better. So now I'm going on to the cowling of the engine. Now, even though I'm painting this all silver, there is a flash of colour on the cowling, a bit of a, well, it's a flash really. So I'm just attaching it to the wings with a little bit of masking tape, and that's going to give me my line for painting as well. And the colour is Mr. Hobby H22 Olive Drab 1. So it's the same colour I'm using for the bombs. Onto one of the gun bubbles now, and this is the one that is midway through the plane. And first of all, I masked it off. Generally, I don't use masking tape for the canopies, but because of the shape of this one, I did. So for painting, I used Tamiya's X56 Metallic Grey. So the canopy is done. I'm moving on to the guns, and it's X10 gun metal. As you can see, I've taken off the masking tape of the canopy there. Next, I'm using Formula 560 canopy glue to attach the canopy, and I just use a cocktail stick here to apply it. With this glue, just make sure it's not too thick before you place it on your cocktail stick. Mine's had sort of bunged up a little bit, but you want it to be free running before you use it. So once I've applied the glue, it's a case of fitting in the gun first, just putting it inside the insert there. Now if you're not using the pilot, it doesn't really matter attaching it to the bottom part of the gun well. And once that's in place, it's just a matter of laying the canopy on top of the gun well housing. Well, I'm going to bring this part to an end, part 1. If you haven't done so already, why don't you check out the channel for the other builds. Subscribe to that channel for the updates for this build and any future builds. Hit that like button, and of course leave a comment. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.